What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports MLB Swing for the Fences show. I'm your host, Mangone, back with Titletown, back with JT, back to talk some MLB with you guys. We'll kick it off with you first, JT. How's it going over there? How is your Monday treating you?
Hey, going good. Really good start to the week. Interesting slate tonight. Coors Field back in our life a little bit sooner than I expected it anyway. Looked like the Rockies only went on the road for one series, so have to navigate that and some other interesting things, some interesting news that just popped up that we'll get into. So it's going well so far.
JT, I'll admit, I was just moving a couch. So what was this interesting news? I've been moving furniture for probably the last 30 minutes. So what happened? Give me the news.
Yeah, so we'll dive right in. The roof in Globe Life Park in Texas is going to be open tonight. And I already had a little bit of interest in the Texas stack, given the pitcher that's going for the Mariners at 2% ownership. So the roof being open makes it a little bit more appetizing down there. With we'll get the weather here in a minute, but it's at least in the mid 90s. So we'll have to take a look at that. Changes the way we're going to approach that game a little bit.
All right, we'll have to talk about that. I'm excited to hear. I love when a roof is open and no one expects it, right? That could be some leverage that we could take a chance on. Titletown, I'll head on over to you. What's going on? How's the NBA treating you? How's your boy Giannis? He's going to be 0% owned now because he's not playing. How's MLB? How's everything going?
Yeah, so NBA, what a crazy slate that was. All different kinds of news. Played both sides today. Just a complete mess. Locked in Muscala, which I was debating whether I should do or not on FanDuel. He had a fine game, but now I couldn't get Boban. Jazz players sat, so kind of a mess. Excited for MLB. Coors slate, as you mentioned. I always love Coors slates. Two decent pitchers, though, so it'll be interesting, but it is a lefty. Good slate overall. Excited to talk baseball. Yeah, Giannis is unfortunately out. He was going to be in the winning lineup for sure. He was going off, so the people that would have faded would have lost. So it was a little unfortunate. Had to get off him, but overall, just excited for a good slate, good night of sports.
All right, yeah, I'm torn on Coors. We'll have to see. We'll dive in. Let's break it down. Let's talk about these pitchers, because I don't love pitching day. I mean, there's options, right? It's not like it's just, hey, you plug in like DeGrom. It's not one of those slates. If you look at the top, you got Patrick Corbin. He's kind of on an island by himself. So let's just talk about him in his own range. JT, what are you doing with Patrick Corbin?
Yeah, I think mostly because of, I guess, the state of pitching on this slate. I almost never roster Corbin. I think Corbin's overrated. He'll pop up with a good game, but for the most part, he's he's consistent, and he's consistently okay. And for his price, he always just seems a little bit too expensive. And that's where he seems tonight. But compared to some of the other arms on this slate that I think all come with a decent amount of risk, at least most of them do, he's in play. He just faced the Mets, I think it was a week ago. Corbin is the same, it seems, every game. He's like mowing guys down. Around the sixth inning, I start to worry because I'm like, damn, I don't have any. And then he'll give up 2 or 3 runs. So he's fine, and on a slate like this, yeah, he's easily the top option in terms of consistency.
Yeah, I'm with you. He's just not a guy I think that's worth spending on. Titletown, how about you? What do you want to do with Corbin?
Yeah, so it's a really tough decision. Kind of with JT, it feels overpriced. He has a 34% strikeout number so far this year. That's due for regression. I saw his velocities down a tick or two, which is a little concerning. The Mets, I'd rather pick on them with a lefty, so I like that part because you can Conforto, McNeil, stuff like that. But they still do have righties like J.D. Davis and Peter Alonso that can really have power. So it's not a lineup I love picking on. But as JT mentioned, I mean, the pitching isn't great. I'm going to have some. He's not my favorite. Right now in cash games, he's not my priority. But I'm still debating on him in cash games, just trying to take the consistency, the floor, I should say, and move on. But there's another pitcher down below I like a little more. And I don't mind some of the guys down below if we want hitters and paying up. It's a very interesting slate. I definitely wouldn't full fade Corbin, but he's not in a smash spot. Don't love him.
All right, let's go down then. Let's go to the next set of pitchers. And we'll go to you, JT. I mean, we got Sean Manaea. We got our boy Kyle Gibson in that game that's going to have the weather. We got Hauser, McCullers. I mean, it's a loaded range, right? This probably 8.8K to 7K range. There's a lot of different options you can go with. Loaded may have not been the word, but there's a lot of different options we can go to, probably is the word for it. So what do you want to do here, JT, with this range?
Yeah, it certainly appears loaded when you first look at it, but obviously Manaea. I will say this for Manaea: his underlying stats are really good. He's got a 1.8% walk rate. He's got a 22% strikeout rate. He's got a much better xFIP than a FIP. So it shows you that he's been a little bit unlucky. The thing is, he's 8.8. If I'm going to pay in that range, I'd much rather take a chance with Gibson, who I know is going to get 6 or 7 innings, as long as he's not giving up a ton of runs, right? Talked about the roof being open. I'll be thinking about that. Does it put me lower on him? If you like bounce back spots for pitchers, this is a great slate for you, because you've got 5 or 6 pitchers on this slate who have been absolutely awful. Manaea has been awful. McCullers has been awful. Gray and Robbie Ray have been awful. So Steven Matz has been awful. So all these guys are not as bad as they've been pitching necessarily, but I think in this mid-range, Hauser feels just a little bit too expensive for this matchup. I don't expect him to go out and pitch 7 innings and get 7 Ks against Minnesota. He might not get lit up, but he's going to get dinged up a little bit. So I'm with Zach on McCullers, and I still like Gibson. I think there's enough. Seattle still strikes out 25% of the time against righties. They've got a pretty mild 133 ISO. Yeah, there's a couple of good guys in the top of that lineup that you could take shots on, but the bottom of that lineup is pretty much 2 of the 4 guys should strike out every at bat.
All right, Titletown, I'll head on over to you. I'm in agreement on McCullers. I think he's an amazing play. I think he's a really good one. And then, there's a bunch of different guys you can go with. So which ones are you leaning? Who are some of your favorites in this range?
Yeah, so McCullers is my favorite, as you guys mentioned. It's not that I absolutely love him. I mean, don't go looking at his previous game logs when you're about to click the button. It's definitely not pretty. But for 8.4K, I'm buying in on the talent. He's a very good pitcher, very good strikeout stuff. Buying in on the matchup, of course, against the Giants. Just the best overall spot for a discount. It is a little scary. I'm glad you guys both like him a lot too. I wasn't 100% sold on him. Cash games on FanDuel, you're pretty much forced to play him, in my opinion, with 8.4K. Corbin over 2K, more expensive, just doesn't even make sense. You could drop down, but it's not needed on this slate. And then Draftkings as well, 8.2K. He's just right there. So I think both sites you have to play him. Glad you guys like him. Then other pitchers in this range, I like Kyle Gibson as well, as JT mentioned. He's a good pitcher, not scared about Seattle. I don't think he's going to get too much ownership because he is more expensive than McCullers. And people might go down to like a Robbie Ray. I think he's going to be pretty popular. What do you think about the Red Sox guy, JT? Bracier, 4.1. I see him popping a little bit against Tampa. I mean, it gets you any bat you want. What's the scoop on him?
I mean, I think he's going to pitch 1 inning. If he gets 2, it'll be a lot.
That doesn't matter. I mean, I was seeing across, some people were talking him up a little bit. I've seen projections at like 14, 15. So I wasn't really sure. I wanted to ask you because I wasn't sure. I mean, 1 or 2 innings, I'm not interested at all. But if he was getting 4 or 5 innings and getting 14 points at 4.1K, it would have been a different story. But yeah, that's pretty much it for pitcher. I mean, McCullers, Ray is my favorites. I'll play a little Corbin at top, and then Gibson I like as well.
All right. I mean, listen, that's the mid tier for you. I mean, like I said, there's guys to like, but I just don't know. I mean, for me, it's like McCullers and May are 2 that I'm looking at personally. Steven Matz, I can't play him against Washington. I like Kyle Gibson, but I don't know. Do I want to play him in this spot? JT brought up some good points that make me maybe not want to go there. Keuchel, you can argue for him, but man, you don't want to go against the Tigers bats, right? We can't go up against Jacoby Jones, right, JT?
No, it's Griner. Can't go against Griner.
Well, there's 2. I mean, he likes both. They're like, he's like a Tigers fan now, apparently.
Yeah. Grayson's definitely due. look, Keuchel just had a really good game. A week ago, he very much exceeded expectations, especially mine, when he dropped 27 or 28 DK against Milwaukee. He's on the road here. He hasn't been a fantastic road pitcher. His price went up a little bit. Just because of the way pitching is tonight, he's okay, right? You can play Dallas Keuchel. His mean projection is right just below the other guys that we're talking about. I think the reason why I think McCullers is a good play is Zach talked about it. His talent is better than he's been pitching. He gets to go back home. It's not a great matchup because the Giants don't strike out a whole lot, but I expect his strikeout rate to rebound, and I expect him to be able to get that control in line. Dustin May is the guy I like. On DK, he's, I think, 7-7. He did face the Padres last week and did really well against them. Even though they've seen him, it's hard to get used to and adjust to a 97-mile-an-hour slider. He's just got such good stuff that I think his price in line with some of these other guys makes him an option tonight. I'm not going to play Julio Teheran. Ryan Yarbrough in Fenway against the Red Sox, who've got a couple of guys who hit lefties well. What's his real ceiling? If he has a smash game, he's going to get you 21 points. So I'd rather take the safety with some of these other guys, I think, than going Yarbrough. And I don't know if I'm ready to trust Steven Matz. I mean, this is a guy who was borderline out of the rotation, and now because the Mets have had all these injuries and Marcus Stroman opted out of the season today, that was a little bit of a surprise. They're kind of stuck with him. So at the lower range, I mean, we're going to talk about, I guess, but I don't see anybody in the lower range here that I'm going to touch. But I'll let you guys, talk about that first.
Yeah, let me mention quick about Dustin May, Mangone. Sorry, but I mean, you brought him up. I forgot to mention him. I do like Dustin May in tournaments. I think he's going to get more ownership than he should. I think he's going to be over-owned because he has good Vegas numbers. He should get the win, one of the highest money lines. Padres on the road. I mean, I'm not Dodger Stadium. It's not the best hitter's park. It plays pretty well at night for pitchers, so I like that. 3.5 implied total just isn't intimidating. So I think he's going to get more ownership than he should. And he's a mid-range player. Mid-range price, it just works. But cash games, I definitely do consider him as one of the best options below Gibson. But if you need the price discount, he offers a nice one.
All right. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about some of the cheaper options. Titletown, we'll go back to you because JT said he doesn't like him, and I don't like him either. Like, what do you want to do here with these guys in this range?
Yeah, I don't like him either. The lowest I'll really go is Robbie Ray at 6.3. Feel that's low enough on this slate with no bats that are like a sick. Coors is in a okay spot. We'll get to them. I'm a chalk guy. I'll probably be playing them, but they're not in a smash spot. It's not a 7 implied total against some gas cans, so they're not in the most obvious spot. There's no other Yankees or anything against Berto Colon or anything like that. So you don't need to go below 6.3K in Robbie Ray.
All right. JT, any final thoughts? You said you want no one in the bottom range, right? There's no one at all. You're not messing with Robbie Ray and Coors as a leverage play with the upside he can have? Anything?
It's interesting because I'm seeing ownership projections on Ray of like almost 40%. And I have to believe it's because people are thinking, all right, I'll take my 5 to 10 points from him, pair him with Corbin, and then I can stack against him or get these Arizona bats. And the thing about him is he hasn't been a good pitcher for a while. Like this is a guy who as recently as 3-4 years ago was bouncing between the minor leagues and the big leagues. And I looked into his numbers this year, and they're downright scary. Sure, he does strike out 26% of batters he faces. He also walks 17% of batters he faces. He's got a 6.31 xFIP. But the number that stood out to me is a 68% fly ball rate on balls put in play against him. He's pitching in Coors tonight, and the wind is blowing out to center field. I don't know that I'm going to mess around with Robbie Ray tonight.
Yeah, trust me, I get it totally. Titletown, we'll go to you. Give me your top 3 arms.
So JT, just quick about Robbie Ray. The only reason you play Robbie Ray is because how cheap he is, and he has the strikeout stuff. It's an upside play, GPP play. If he's coming in at 40% though, yeah, I don't want any part of chalk Robbie Ray. He's a pitcher you'd rather get low owned with the strikeout stuff. You don't want to play at 40% Robbie Ray. So, but top pitchers, Lance McCullers 1. Gonna go Kyle Gibson 2, and then Dustin May 3.
All right, let's go on to talking about the bats now. Because let me tell you this, I'm not like sold on what bats to go to today. I know Coors is there and obviously lurking, but I don't think Coors is in an amazing spot. But I want to break it down. So let's go to you first, JT. Let's go White Sox. Let's go Tigers. What do you want to do here? This has a 9 total. We got Keuchel. We got Fulmer starting, but then we got the pitchers replacement. So how do you want to handle this one? This is a game again. I don't think I want to touch too much though. How about you?
Yeah, normally I don't like offenses going into or coming out of a Sunday night game, but especially a game where last night they not beat up, but they beat Bieber. They got a game over on the Indians. But that being said, you've got a pitcher who's going to open for Detroit and Michael Fulmer, who's essentially rehabbing in the big leagues. If this were a regular season, he'd still be down in the minor leagues. He'd still be making a couple of rehab starts to get his velocity up. His velocity is down 4 miles an hour. He's going to pitch for 3 innings, maybe 4 innings if he does really well. And then Daniel Norris, a fly ball pitcher, is going to come in after him, face a predominantly right-handed lineup in a park that plays a little smaller when it's hot, and the wind's blowing out to center field there. So I don't have a ton of interest on the Detroit side. Keuchel's a good enough ground ball pitcher that they just don't jump out to me. But I do like this White Sox stack enough. Some of these guys like Jimenez, Moncada, Abreu, Laurie Garcia leading off, because you can steal bases on both Fulmer and Norris. So I do have interest in the White Sox. Their ownership going to be much, much lower than Coors, probably in the mid-range there. So that's a stack that I will have some up tonight.
All right, we'll head on over to you, Titletown. White Sox, Tigers, any interest in your cash games?
I do like the White Sox a little bit as well. I've been finding on Draftkings that I've had some money, depending on who you pair with McCullers at pitcher, that you'll have money to spend on bats. And Grandal's been sticking out to me at catcher. Don't love the position. I usually don't pay up that much, but in my tournament, I wrote him up in my core plays. So I'm going to have a lot of Grandal. Even though he's a little priced up, I think that's going to keep his ownership down. Batting in the 3-hole. I really like that a lot, but I like Moncada, Abreu as well. I think this is a pretty good lineup, and I'm going to have definitely some ownership and exposure there. Won't have any Detroit, though.
All right, let's go on to the next game. We got the Nationals. We got the Mets, 8.5 total. And listen, I always love playing the Nationals against Steven Matz. He struggles with stolen bases, and that's just always a dream spot for Trey Turner. I like some of these righties here too. I think Steven Matz could have some fits here. I don't know what to do in cash games, JT. Tell me what to do in tournaments, though.
Yeah, I think the Nationals are going to be fairly low owned tonight. The thing about it is, the more I looked at this game, between the park, between the fact that Steven Matz isn't very good right now, but he's not as bad as he's been made to look by the likes of the Braves and the Nats the last couple of times out. You have to believe that he'll figure some things out. That being said, again, credit to the Nationals for putting out a pretty good lineup. You've got Harrison in there. I think he's batting second today. Kendrick, all these guys, all these right-handers hit home runs or stole bases against them last time out. He's not going to be able to keep anyone on first. So if a guy like Trey or Harrison, Kendrick, Starlin Castro gets a single, it's an automatic double. So I don't know if I want to full stack them. It just, the totals are so low, and I'm trying to figure out why. But on the Nats side, definitely you can take shots on some of those guys. On the Mets side, Wilson Ramos is too cheap. He's a guy who caught Corbin for, I think, half a season. Does pretty well against him. So, if you're looking to go down from Grandal at catcher, I don't mind Wilson Ramos. The rest of this Mets lineup is, you've got J.D. Davis against lefties, Alonso. I just don't love the spot for either one of these teams for a full stack tonight.
All right. Titletown, how about you? Listen, I mentioned it. I'm considering these guys in cash games. I think they're in play, but what are you thinking?
Yeah, I haven't really found myself landing there, to be honest. That 4.4 implied total is not something that I usually go with. Got to side with Vegas on this one. I do like your Trey Turner call, though. He's probably one of the best one-offs on the slate. He has to get a stolen base here if he gets on base. I mean, yeah, he gets a single, he can steal second. He could probably even steal third if he wanted. So, definitely one of my favorite one-offs just on the stolen base upside alone, but I won't be stacking them with this team. Either side of the game, I'm not a fan on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll mention like I'm not trying to stack four of them, right? But they have some cheap price tags always, the Nationals on FanDuel, so that's where they can be really enticing. But Trey Turner is definitely my favorite of all of them in this game. Like to call on the one-off to Titletown. Let's head on over to the next game, JT. We got the Tampa Bay Rays, we got the Boston Red Sox. We have a 9.5 total here. The Red Sox have not been kind to me, and I haven't really played the Rays much this year, so I don't know what to do with this game, JT. I think I'm staying away. How about you?
I don't have a ton of interest. The Red Sox have not certainly hit the way that at least they expected themselves to. That organization, JD hasn't been all that great. Xander hasn't been all that great. Yarborough's okay. They faced him last week. He gave up 5 runs in 5 innings. I don't expect necessarily a repeat of that. It's just, Yarborough's got a 17% strikeout rate. The Red Sox only strike out 22% of the time. I could see this game being, on the Red Sox side, just a lot less appetizing than it looks. On the Tampa Bay side, you've got an opener who, and I looked, Brazier has pitched more than 1 inning once this year. So in like 10 or 11 appearances, the most he's gotten is 2 innings. Everything else, anywhere from a third of an inning to a full inning. So he's not on my radar for pitching. This Rays team has been disappointing as well. People were talking about them as a potential playoff team. They've got a great lineup. They don't have a great lineup right now. And I earlier in the day, I saw it was going to be Martin Perez who was supposed to come in after Brazier. I don't like stacking against him. He's enough of a same with Keuchel. He's almost a mirror image of Keuchel. It's like, yeah, maybe he'll give up a home run, maybe he'll give up 3 earned, but he rarely does much more than that. And so I don't love this game.
All right, Titletown, how about you? What do you want to do with this one? I think on FanDuel, one guy I want to mention, maybe you'll like him, Titletown. I want to ask you because you play there a ton. Austin Meadows, I think that price tag's not bad on him. But other than that, what are you doing with this game?
Took it kind of right out of my mouth. When you were even last game, when you were mentioning value on FanDuel, talking about who were we just talking about? Anyway, no, the Rays are very good value on FanDuel. Austin Meadows is too cheap. You were talking about the Nationals, going back to it about value. I like the Rays for value on FanDuel a lot more. Austin Meadows 3.4K back in the leadoff spot. Absolutely like that. G-Man Choi batting 4th, 2.5K, way too cheap on FanDuel. Brandon Lau hitting 2nd, 3.3. I mean, they're just cheap all around on FanDuel. So if you need them in cash, even in turn, anywhere, I like them a lot for their value. This is how the slate works, that they offer one of the best value, where in Draftkings they don't. They're priced way up. And Choi at 3.6K stands out a little bit. Austin Meadows, though, is 5.5K over there. If you want to compare the two sites, Brandon Lowe is 4.6K. So it just shows how good of a discount that is on FanDuel. And on DraftKings, I wouldn't bother stacking them because they're just way too expensive. And I don't think they're going to win you a GPP over there. But they will be very low owned. That's one good thing. But I'll limit my exposure to 150 max. If you're making 150 lineups, definitely get some. But you can't go crazy in 20 entry max.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bullpen game for Boston, which is kind of frustrating because I don't love attacking bullpen games when I know they're going to be strategically doing things. But the weather's great, right? One thing that Big T also has mentioned is when you can get a team that's in like a bad ballpark and then they go to a good one, like that's a nice upgrade. That's always good to attack. And, the more we talk about it, I think I'm liking a little bit of Rays here. I think they're definitely in play. Let's take a look. JT, what's the chat looking like here? We got, how many people are watching us right now? Is that 162 watching?
162. Only 32 likes, Mangone.
What's going on with that? JT, like to to put that in perspective, like 1 out of every 5 people who are sitting here watching the show, they're like, I don't want to hit the like button. Like, I mean, come on, like that's a little ridiculous, right?
Yeah, no, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Is there a way to make the show go dark for 5 minutes just as punishment?
Not sure. I mean, we could ask the producer to, but I think that's a little too much to try. And then what if we can't pull it back up? And we don't want to do that to the people. So maybe for the next show we do, we'll implement that. So hit that like, guys. We appreciate it a ton. Helps us out. Let's JT. Let's make one last decision here. What do you want the likes to be? What's your decision here? We got 50.
We got it. You know what? They have. They've been so painful to me today. We got to get to 110. With 170 watching now, we just went up to near 60. Get to 110. It shouldn't be a problem. I mean, unless your mouse is broken, click the like button.
Yeah, we can't be copping out going low anymore. Big T's are too many trips to FedEx. He's not liking that. So it's going to have to be 110 is what you got to get there. 109 won't work. Big T won't. He's not going the extra way anymore.
110, and Big T's out here. He's putting up his core plays now. He's watching the stream, so Yeezy was saying it's got to be because of the host. Well, if it's because of Big T, he's hanging in the chat with you, Yeezy. I mean, he's right next to you, having a good time. So, guys, hit that like though. We'd appreciate it. We need 110 to give out the swag. Let's go on to the next game though. Next one up, we got the Twins. We have the Brewers, and Twins are always in play, JT. I mean, it's a day that ends in Y. We always talk about it. What do you do with the Twins here against Hauser? Because Hauser's not a guy I typically want to be attacking. So how do you want to handle this one?
No, it's kind of for DFS purposes, it's a little ugly because both these pitchers are priced either right or just a little bit more expensive than I think they should be. In Dobnak's case, I think a lot more than a little bit more expensive. I'm not sold on him yet. I know he's had a couple of good starts, but Hauser's a good enough pitcher. This game screams to me like 4-3. I'm definitely running 150 as I normally do. I'm probably going to limit myself to two or three lineups, including these teams, and that's it. Yelich has been hot. Yeah, you could go to him, but look, the Twins just got swept in Kansas City. They go to this park, which is slightly better. It's a slight upgrade, but I don't love it. I think the pitching is good enough where I just really am not interested in anything in this game.
All right, we'll head on over to you, Titletown. How are you handling the Twins and the Brewers?
Yeah, I'm not in love with either side. They're getting moderate love from Vegas, but nothing in particular, nothing that stands out. The slate's big enough with other spots that I'm going to want to eliminate games and eliminate teams. So these are two teams I'm just going to eliminate, hope it's lower scoring and doesn't find its way on the optimal.
All right, let's go on to the next game. And we got the Diamondbacks. We got the Rockies. We'll go back to you, Titletown, on this one. Listen, I know you're going to like Coors Field, right? I get it. It's hard to ignore. But listen, I want to do this, Titletown. Make the case to not play Coors Field tonight. I know you're going to want to play Coors Field. Make the case not to play it. I'm going to flip the script on you here.
All right, so in the case not to play it is there's two pitchers that, have been very good at one point in their career. Very good, maybe a little overstatement, but John Gray last year, he was good strikeout stuff. Robbie Ray's had good strikeout stuff in the past. And if you get two guys that are on their game, on their stuff today, anything, especially in baseball, anything can happen. But these two, it could be a 1-0 game with these two pitchers if they're both on. So there is a case. Vegas doesn't love it as much as for Coors game, 11.5 total. So that's kind of up there. I see money coming in on the under a little bit, favoring the Rockies side for sure because of the Rockies against a lefty at home are always going to be in play. So, but yeah, that's the case. It's not a 12.5. It's not a 13.5 total. There's always people out there. It seems like most people I see in chat and stuff, they're either always all in Coors or they're always off Coors. I'm pretty much a always in Coors guy because I am a cash player and stuff like that. But yeah, you definitely don't need to play Coors today with these two pitchers that have strikeout upside and that can turn it on anytime.
Yeah, but Title, I know you're playing Coors, so now give the case for it. I was just messing with you. Now, I obviously want you to talk about the guys you want to play. So
but
feel free to talk about the guys you like.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point though. Because I play cash and I always play really optimal. I mean, I just wake up and pretty much know I'm playing Coors. It doesn't really matter who's pitching and which isn't always shouldn't like be the case. But after looking into it, when I saw it's a lefty, you always want Story and Arenado just absolutely smash lefties at home. Fly ball pitcher, you love that. Garrett Hampson's up in the one hole, too cheap on both sides, so I'll have plenty of him over there. And then you can fill out with Blackman or Murphy. You can fill out with a lefty, hoping Ray isn't going to be in too long, or you can go Matt Kemp batting six, or you can just go with a 3-man stack. But it's going to be Hampson, Arenado, Story is my favorites. And then I do like the other side. Draftkings, I like them more because of pricing and how expensive the Rockies are. But I like both the Martes, Calhoun up top, David Peralta in the 4-hole. And this isn't a lineup I mind going down below with. I don't love Nick Ahmed, John Jay, and stuff, but Escobar in the 6-hole, Vogt in the 7-hole. I like that. So I'll have both sides of this game, leaning Rockies on FanDuel and Diamondbacks on DraftKings.
All right, JT, let's head on over to you. Talk to me about Coors. Listen, you are a tournament guy. How are you handling this one? It's the first game in Coors. People say, the first game in Coors, it's normally lower scoring. So is this one you're going to fade or are you going to play?
For me, the problem with fading Arizona is at those prices, if they go off, you're not going to win anything without them. Arizona is priced as if they're playing at home or if they're playing in Petco. The prices are just too cheap. The middle of that lineup on DraftKings all below 4K. And I think Ketel Marte is the only guy up at 5K. So, the thing about it is if you're fading this thinking that you're going to get vintage Robbie Ray and vintage John Gray, that's definitely an outlier. And I could see that as a route to take in tournaments. Yeah, both these guys are going to be, both the teams are going to be 20 to 25% owned. But just looking at what they've done over the course of the last couple of years, it's hard to see runs not being scored here.
Yeah, listen, I agree with you.
He was just giving me. I was just saying, JT. I don't expect the vintage game either. That was just one of the reasons to fade it. I see Big T in chat talking about how he knows I'm loving Coors. Of course, I'm loving Coors. I mean, Coors, Giannis. You always got to love the best plays and roll with them. But hey, that's why Big T makes all of his money on certain days, because all of us chalk donkeys. We always love Coors, always love the Giannis, all that. And when they flop, Big T wins it. So everyone in chat listen to this. I think it's a good point to be brought up. Know what style of daily fantasy DFS that you guys play. If you're a cash game player like myself, 80% in cash games, 20% in your bankroll and tourneys. Not looking for the big wins all the time. They don't come often, but just keep grinding your way steady. And then if you're a tournament player, if you're an MME player, if you're a 3-lineup player, 1-lineup player, everyone here at Run Pier and other places, they have their niche. So you just find your niche, become an expert at it, do it every day, stick to it, and you'll become a better player.
All right. Listen, you got to like Coors. It's obviously in a good spot. In GPPs, easily can fade it and look for other options. And there's another option right here that we're going to talk about now. We got the Seattle Mariners. We got the Texas Rangers. We'll go to you, JT. You said at the top of the show, the roof is open. So currently at 8.5 total. Do you think this thing climbs up? And do you think the Texas Rangers can take care of Justin Dunn here?
Yeah, Justin Dunn is a prospect. He's a number 8 prospect, I guess, pitching prospect, but he hasn't put it all together yet. He's got a negative K to walk rate, 19% strikeouts, but 22% walks, 6.6 xFIP. The roof is open. It feels like it's 102 degrees in Arlington tonight. It's the first time, I think, that the roof has been open down there. So I was already liking the Texas side of this game just as a low-owned pivot off of Coors, off of maybe even the White Sox. And now that the roof is going to be open, you've got to love Willie Calhoun is back. He's batting third. Joey Gallo's batting cleanup. I like this Texas stack tonight quite a bit.
All right, Titletown. Are you mixing any Texas Rangers in your cash games?
Yeah, I like Texas as well. Roof open, that helps a lot. I was on him before as well. Don't think Dunn's any good. I like the lefties. Joey Gallo just stuck out to me all day. I don't play him too often, but in spots like this, I think he goes yard. That'll be one of my predictions right away. That's a little easy call. I'll give you harder ones later, but Joey Gallo's one of my favorite players on the slate. So I'm looking at him, Shin-Soo Choo, Willie Calhoun. Those are my favorite three. Definitely going to – I don't think I'm going to full stack them because I like other spots better, but the Choo, Calhoun, Gallo, those are definitely one of my three favorite bats on the slate.
All right. We got Kyle in the chat, and he says, thanks for the free show, guys. No problem, Kyle. But if we're doing that, we need those likes, man. We got to get to 110. If you guys want swag, that's what we're going to do. Big T's pretty firm on that. So, we got to make sure we get the 110 likes. So let's get it to that. Alsher giving me the shout out too for Morikawa. That was fun. I don't know how much you guys sweat the golf, but watching Morikawa win was a good time. Me and the Keg crew had a good time doing that. Big T, he also gave out Morikawa on Sunday morning at the Rum Pure Bets daily plays. So I give it out on the free show. Big T gave it out. We gave it out on the live show. So listen, you definitely made some money with Rum Pure Bets this weekend if you're following the golf. So head on over and check out.
Good call, Mangone. I forgot to give you a compliment in the beginning. Text you this morning, 33-1. That was saw you guys all sweating it out. Different people at the bets had different bets on them throughout. So that was cool to see. Saw you were the first one at 33-1. Want to give you a nice congrats on that one. That's a nice win.
Thanks. And, the golf show was hitting me pretty bad on Wednesday night. They were saying JJ, was 7-0, and he was carrying the golf betting show. So I needed it, right? I had to lock in and hit that one. Hopefully we can go for the back-to-back ones. Let's go on to the next game. We got the San Francisco Giants. We got the Houston Astros. JT, what are you doing here? Can we stack up the Astros here? Because, again, Logan Webb, he's not good, and we talked about Coors and everyone loving it. This Astros team could be a sneaky offense today.
Yeah, the Astros look like they're going to be about 10, 12% owned, maybe even a little bit lower than that. Behind Webb. Webb is okay. I mean, he's a prospect. He isn't, again, another guy who hasn't put it all together. He's not going to strike a bunch of guys out. So, and then behind that, you've got a pretty bad bullpen. Second worst bullpen on the season, third worst over the last 10 games. So you never know with Gabe Kapler how many innings the starting pitcher is going to get. So it's always something to think about. And I'll definitely have some of these Astros because, it depends on who's going to come in after him. I'm not going to worry about lefty or righty. I'm going to look at, trying to get a straight stack, either 1-5 or 2-6 or something like that. On the Giants side, we're all, going to be playing McCullers. Houston's bullpen has been surprisingly poor as well. But, the only guys I like in this lineup are the top two lefties at the top, which are Yaz and Dickerson. And Yaz is now nearly $6K. I'm not paying that for him in that park. So I'll probably stay away from the Giants altogether.
All righty. How about you, Titletown? What do you want to do with this Astros game?
Yeah, so Astros are one of my favorite stacks of the night because of the ownership. I think 10% is about right, maybe even a little lower. I just think everyone's going to gravitate to Coors and other spots. And I think Texas might even be higher owned because of their prices. So I'll take the Astros most days if they're going to be under owned. They're actually in a good spot today. Altuve, Bregman, Gary Correa, all those are my favorite. On Draftkings, Altuve and Bregman are very expensive, so I probably won't be able to play both together. If I had to pick one, I'm going to go with Bregman for 100 more, but I like Altuve as well. They're just very expensive over there. Josh Reddick up to the 2-hole, so I like that a lot, and he is pretty cheap. And then on FanDuel, they're a little more affordable with their highest price being 3.9K in Bregman, so you can full stack them over there. I think they're going to be under owned a late game, and Webb isn't good with a bad bullpen behind. So they are definitely one of my favorite stacks who will not get a lot of ownership.
All righty, then let's go on to the next one. We got the Padres. We have the Dodgers. 8.5 total here, and Dodgers, again, implied total above 5 as always, right? They're one of the better offenses in the league, and they get Perdomo. Tons of good lefties in this lineup, JT. How do you want to handle the Dodgers? Because I think they could be an interesting contrarian stack.
Yeah, talked about this a little last week when they were in Arizona, right? Dodgers under 5%, always in play. Luis Perdomo is going to start this game for San Diego. He hasn't started a game in a year and a couple of months, so he's going to go 2 innings, maybe 3 innings, and then you're going to get the 5th or 6th worst bullpen in the game right now in the Padres. So I like those lefties for the Dodgers. Obviously, we talked about how much we like Dustin May tonight, so that's where I would go in this game.
All right, let's go to the last game. We got the Oakland A's, we got the Angels, and this is a 9.5 total. And I don't want to ignore this game completely, right? Wind's blowing out, weather's pretty decent there, around 80 degrees. And we can attack Sean Manaea with these Angels righties, and we can attack Julio Teheran. The problem is there's not a ton of Oakland lefties. That's the one issue here, because that's what Julio Teheran struggles with a ton. Titletown, how are you handling this game?
Yeah, you pretty much hit it. I mean, it's pitchers I sometimes attack, but it has to be the right slate. Neither of these teams jump off the page too much. Vegas does like them a little bit. So in tournaments, playing multiple lineups, I'd want exposure to both sides a little bit. I'm favoring the Oakland A's. I like their offense a little more. I think they're going to get it done and get a win, but it's just not an offense that's jumping out of the page. No specific bats I'm really wanting to target. There's other spots I like more with Houston, Coors, the Rays and stuff where I won't have too much exposure to this game in general, even with Vegas kind of liking it. So I'm curious to see what JT says. If he pushes me one side or another, I'll play a little bit in tournaments, but it's not something I'm targeting too much.
All right, JT, how about you? I mean, if we talk about it, the A's, those power bats, can they get it done here against Teheran?
Yeah, I in particular, they only have two power lefties. If you want to call Robbie Grossman a power lefty, he could show some power. But yeah, I love Matt Olson in this spot. And Tehran's not going to be around much in this game. He went 2 2/3 in his first start. He might go a little longer than that here. Joe Madden, isn't going to have a long leash with any of his pitchers. I'm sure you were not happy as you saw that yesterday when Andrew Heaney got pulled out pretty early. So, I do like this Oakland spot quite a bit. On the Angels side, Manaea hasn't been very good, but his underlying stats are not terrible. There is a little bit of concern with a velocity drop about halfway through his last start. So the problem with going to the Angels side is Oakland has one of the best bullpens in the game. So you're going to get a lot of these, high-end quality pitchers coming out. So I have, and David Fletcher's 4.7 on DK. Trout is now up over 6. A lot less interest in the Angels.
All right. Yeah. Listen, I don't know. This game, is Sean Murphy? Is we going to get Sean Murphy in the lineup, JT? Is he going to be your catcher play of the day? We're getting to the home run calls. Is that going to be your guy today?
I think he only plays against lefties, so it's not his day today.
All right, just wanted to check, just in case you're doing the Angels, or not the Angels, the A's stack out there. Sean Murphy doesn't seem like the guy that JT would go to. Figured I'd mention because he's one of your, pet catchers. But yeah, that's kind of it for all the games. Let's go to stacks now. Let's go to you, Titletown. Give me your favorite stacks.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the Rockies. I think they get it done against Ray, especially the two, Story and Arenado. Can see a lot of home runs against the fly ball pitcher. Diamondbacks on the other side of the game I like more on Draftkings. I think they're going to be pretty popular, though. I like Houston as my sneaky stack. I think they come in as 10%. And then the Rays are my favorite for value.
All right, let's go to you, JT. Give me your 3 favorite stacks.
Yeah, the White Sox, Arizona, just way too cheap on DraftKings. And then Texas. I think it's about time that Texas stack takes a slate down.
All right, I'm gonna go with Diamondbacks and Diamondbacks and Rockies. Obviously, I like Coors, but let me give you 2 other stacks. Right, let me give you 2 others. I'll go with the Nationals. I think they could be pretty sneaky here against Matz. What can happen with a guy like Steven Matz. He can get blown up at times. They have some good righties that can take care of lefties. The stolen base upside is there. And on top of that, man, if you can get to that Mets bullpen too, it can be a stone disaster. So weather's good too, wind blowing out. I think that is going to be one of my stacks. That could be a nice little contrarian one. And let's see, what's the last one I'll go with? I'll go with the A's. I really think that the power that those bats have can be really intriguing. The one problem I always have with them is, when they go up against a righty that struggles a ton against lefties, it's hard to get a ton of them in. So maybe you go like a Matt Olson. Maybe you go, I don't know, who else could be in there? Maybe Robbie Grossman would be in there. JT, any other lefties I could think of that could slide into the lineup? I'm not a huge Tony Kemp guy. Who could be some other lefties, JT, on that A's team I can mix in? That would be a good bet.
Yeah, the projected lineup only has Olsen, Grossman, and Kemp, and like you, I even though Kemp is cheap, I don't necessarily see throwing him in there. But then again, Tehran, you're going to get a half of a game or maybe even less from him. They are on the road in Anaheim, so you're going to get at least 4, maybe 5 innings for that Angels bullpen. So I'm less concerned with guys like, first of all, Tehran can't hold anybody on either. So Marcus Semien leading off. Chapman, Laureano is, even if he gets suspended, people were talking, he'll get suspended. Even if he gets suspended, I'm sure he would appeal that if it happened today. So give me that top of the lineup and add Grossman. Top 4 and add Grossman.
All right, there you go, JTC. I needed help there to get there. So, and you brought up a good point that I forgot about. Tehran on the stolen bases. That's another one. So I'm playing the stolen base angle with my stacks and GBPs on this slate. Let's go for home run calls. Titletown, give me your 3 favorite guys to hit one out.
So I'm not going to talk about Coors. I have both Arenado and Story hitting one, so I'm not going to bring that up too chalky. I'm going to go with Gallo up top. Think he gets it done. Like him a lot. Grindal, mid-tier kind of. Really like Grindal in the 3-hole here. Think he hits one out. And then I'm going to go G-Man Choi for a value. Like him on both sides. Pretty cheap. And think he gets it done against the Red Sox.
All right, JT, give me your 3 home run calls.
At the top, I'm going to go with Matt Olson. In the mid-range, I'll go with Willie Calhoun in Texas. And then Starlin Castro is very underrated against left-handed pitchers. I think he was the odd man out who didn't hit a homer off Matt's last week, so I think he gets one tonight.
All right, listen, we got 178 people watching the stream, 178, and we got 91 likes. We need 19 more to get to 110, and then we'll give out some swag, guys. So I'm going to go through my home runs really slow on purpose, right? I'm going to go through this really slow to give you a chance to jump on in and make this happen. So you need 19 likes. Make it happen, guys. 176 people watching. I'm trying to give out that free swag. All right, so one of my home run calls, and listen, I'm going to say this, and JT, tell me if this is acceptable. I'm not calling a Trey Turner home run, right? But I'm telling you he gets you 16 or 18.7, right? The equivalent to a home run. Is that okay there, JT?
Yeah, we'll allow it today.
You let him off easy. That's why he asked you. He knew I would have been like, no, that ain't no dong of the day. That ain't a home run. Unless if you call inside the park home run and he gets that would be something special.
Well, listen, I'm asking the question. The reason why I'm asking the question, I'm trying to stall for the chat. I'm trying to get 11 more likes. That's all I'm trying to do here. So,
all right. That was a little sharp thinking. I like that.
Yeah, trying my best there. And trying reporting some dude in chat who is being the worst. Let's see, what else are we gonna do here? Let's find one more stack here. What were you gonna say, Titletown?
I was about to say, you really wanted Big T to keep making his FedEx trips, eh? Yeah, waiting in line, tilting him up a little bit. But hey, we get the support. You guys got to send Big T there every week. Got to get those likes. Got to get that. Help us out and support us for the winners. And Big T we'll make Big T keep doing it.
Yeah, let's get Big T heading out there. That's always good. All right, next home run. Let's go with Moncada. I don't know if one of you guys said him, but I'm down for Moncada here. I think it's a pretty good spot. He's a switch hitter. He won't obviously get pulled. We'll go with him as a one-off. I'm not stacking up the White Sox, but I think he could be one of the one-offs you might go to. Again, guys, we need 9 likes. I'm trying to make Big T go to FedEx, guys. It'd be fun to see Big T at FedEx. JT, don't you want to get Big T at FedEx?
I'd love to. Maybe he can, when he goes next time, he can bring the Betts gear with him.
Oh, so he doesn't have the Betts gear. That's either JJ or Jason. I forget which one has that. They're giving out. They always give out Betts gear on their show they do on the Run Pure Bets channel. They do live shows 3-4 times a week. They're doing them all for free throughout August. So if you guys haven't checked those out, definitely jump in there and check them out. They're fun times. They finished and crazy to think. I think in the past 2 months they finished in the black every single week. Some of the shows they've gone down, some they've gone up, but by the end of the week they have been in the black 2 straight months. So it's been a really, really good time for them. They've been absolutely crushing it. And Morikawa helped get them home to make sure they were in the black for the entire week. So that was big for them, getting them at plus 350 late on Sunday. Let me give my last home run call. We get one more like. It's literally just one more like. My last home run call. digging through here. Titletown. Did you say Joey Gallo? Is he one of your guys?
Yep, stole him from you.
All right, so I can't go with Joey Gallo. Let's see. I'm going to go back to let's go back to the Nationals game. Okay, we're actually going to call a home run here in this spot, right? The guy we're going to go with, it'll be Howie Kendrick. Howie Kendrick hits one out in the 5-hole. We'll go with him as a home run call. Again, wind is blowing out a bit. I think it could be pretty good here. That about do it, though. We got 112 likes. JT, pick the guy that's going to win. Close your eyes, do the quick scroll up, or look the other way. Figure out who is going to get the swag and have them DM us at the Run Pure Sports Twitter account or DM me on Discord.
Have we given Pinche Baracho any swag yet?
Not sure. If you can, tell us, Pinche Baracho, if you had any. If you've gotten any swag, let us know right now in the chat, and then we will.
Either him or Eric Johnson. So one of those two guys.
All right. So Pinche, you are number one. So let us know. Inform us right now if you have it. And he just said no, he has not. So it's you, Eric Johnson. You have to wait maybe till the next show. It is Pinche Baracho. DM the Run Pure Sports Twitter account. That's the best place to get to us. But we got to get on out of here. That's about it. JT, before we go, summarize the slate for us.
Yeah, I think very clearly there's really 3-4 pitchers that have a chance tonight to get you into that really 20 to 25 range that could be in tournament contention. And then for me, it's going to be a focus. I am going to play Coors. I'm going to focus more on the Arizona side, like Texas a lot, like the White Sox, and then lower owned teams, I should say, the Rays, Houston, and the Dodgers. That's kind of the consensus here.
All righty. We got to get out of here, though. Check out JT's playbook. Check out Titletown's core plays. Check out my core plays. See you guys later. We're out of here.